Hey y'all, Instinct Survivalist coming again with another Two Tip Tuesday. This time we'll be talking about plastic sheeting and dry bags. Now, let's talk plastic sheeting first, and you'll hear the dogs moving around in the background. They're out here enjoying the fact they're outside, even though it's cold as crap out here. Plastic sheeting. Each one of my vehicles actually has plastic sheeting in it for emergencies. Plus, I do occasionally carry it in my backpack, depending upon where I'm going or what I'm doing. The reason being, and what I use it for, is number one, I can use it for a moisture barrier, right? Put it down on the ground just like you do the drum liners, put it down on the ground cover, not have to worry about it. Secondly, I can take and wrap it around me, and it keeps your insulation in, right? It keeps the heat in, your warmth in. Another one is I can cut off a piece of the white one and use it as a signaling device if I want to. Last piece of this is you could use it as a super shelter. Now, I know what you're thinking, Bill, you're going to show us how to do a super shelter? No, there's much better videos than what I've got out there, and we may do it one day. So until then, use Dave Canterbury as an example, Morris Kochanski, which is the, I wouldn't say the inventor, but the inventor of this. And then Pacific Northwest Bushcraft, PNW Bushcraft on YouTube. I'll try to remember to put a link in below. He actually has a great one for hammocks. He did a super shelter with a hammock, so very cool idea there. But again, the idea, the concept with a super shelter, for those of you that don't know, is you create your shelter design, and then what you do is you then take this plastic sheeting and you wrap it around that with your fire to the outside. The benefit is that the radiation from the actual fire goes into the shelter and is retained by the plastic sheeting. So you can look at anywhere from 10 to 20 degrees difference inside of a plastic covered, if you will, super shelter. Yeah, Bill, but what about breathing? And it's okay. You're going to keep some portholes, if you will, out there. And you're going to make sure they're in locations inside the shelter so that you're not dying, for lack of a better term, or freezing to death with air come whipping through. So a lot of things about the placement of your camp and then how you set that up. So take a look at those 3 videos. Great ones to look at, great resources or references if you want to go there. So plastic sheeting, again, I keep them in my car for additionally if I need to go and work underneath the car and I got fairly decent clothes on, there's that. So keep that in mind. So let's talk about dry bags. Dry bag or dry gear bag is designed to keep your gear dry. Imagine that, right? The benefit, in my opinion, and again, this is all based off of things and tips I take for granted, right? I keep a dry bag in my bag and I forget about it, right? I just do it. So like in this case, I've got the Serape from my last video, the wool blanket video. If you haven't seen it, please go check it out. One of the most popular ones on the site right now. And then my thermal shirt, which I will probably put on after this video because it's cold. But the benefit is that you also keep your clothing, your gear dry even in wet conditions. So winter's a perfect time. Snow, I got moisture all over the ground, I've got, things of that nature. You want to keep your gear dry, and you've got other stuff in your bag that it doesn't matter if it gets wet, it's okay, it'll clean up, it'll dry off, whatever, but I don't want to put on wet clothes. So wool socks as an example, my thermal, and then if I'm doing a scout alone, I'll do an extra shirt, my wool socks, and then my wool Serape, so I can keep it as an underquilt or keep me off the ground. I did have at one point a piece of plastic sheeting down in there, and then I pulled it out and used a drum liner instead, just because I can use the drum liner a little bit more for other things, such as gathering small sticks, if you will, and be able to make my fire. So there's another reason for that. Additionally, in my other one, I also keep a canvas wrapped roll of fatwood. Now, Bill, fatwood's pretty water resistant. I know. Me, I want to be assured of fire, so I take the extra step. It doesn't take up a whole lot of room. I've only got 2 sticks in there. I stick it in the side, works just fine. I don't use those first, I use those last, right? If I get, to where the rest of them, something happens, I can't make a fire out of fat wood, which is unheard of. But if something happens to where I don't have any fat wood, I can't make a fire with fat wood, what have you, those are my go-to, so it's my emergency backup, for lack of a better term. But the concept of this is pretty simple. This one's thick. You can see this one's a Unigear You can get them at REI, you can get them at Academy, you can get them at pick a sporting goods place in their water sports division. Walmart actually carries them. I have a bigger one. My bigger one is from Walmart, and I don't remember the brand name. We'll say Ozark Trail. We'll just say that. Sounds great. I don't think that's right though. This one, some of the things you can look for is based off of different sizes. You may want to have a strap. So this one's got a connector here, a loop here. It's got two on the top where I actually have a strap that I can put over my shoulder so I can carry just the bag if I want to use it as a scout bag. Now the premise is very simple in a dry bag, and here's my thermal shirt, and again my wool blanket at the bottom. The premise is very simple. What you want to do is you want to stick your stuff in there, right? So make sure it's in there, and I want to try to push as much room from the top, and I'll show you why, as I can. So I love to just shove it down in there the best I can. Do I fold it? It depends, right? This top shirt, I folded it, I've pulled it out and put it back in a couple of times. It's not folded anymore. I just shove it in there, and I use it kind of like a compression sack. So that's the other part about this, is you can use in combination with a compression sack. Maybe we'll talk about those on another time, but you can shove that down in your bag to do that. The reason I'm pushing down so far is because this top, although it's a top, it rolls, right? You've got to roll it down to keep the water out. And so to do so, I've just taken and done a double roll. You want to make sure that it's not just a single roll. I'm going to be real honest with you. I've done it with a single roll, and stuff got damp on the top. Now the bottom didn't, but the top did. So I do a double roll now because of that. So I make sure I have enough room. And then what you do is you take and fold it over and clip, right? Then gives you a nice little handle to carry it. But what this does is ensures that when I go and need to put on wool socks as an example, they're not wet. Okay, I'm trying to keep my feet dry, trying to keep them clean. I can take my other ones and put them by the fire, and then I can put my wool ones in the bottom. The other side is that thermal shirt is a perfect example, and you saw it was at the top. The reason being is because, okay, it's going to be dry in my bag, but if I need to change out shirts, I don't have to pull everything out, put it on the wet ground, and then put it back in after I grab my shirt. So the stuff you're going to need at the beginning is what you would have at your top. So think about that as you're traveling, as you're walking, as you're hiking, as you're doing whatever. If you're camping, you're bushcrafting, whatever it is, make sure that you think about that first. So there you have it, guys. We got the two factors today, the two tips, if you will. Not really a delightful subject, not necessarily entertaining either, but it is a tip nevertheless. And again, me trying to use the stuff that's in my brain to help y'all, because it helps me, and that's what it boils down to. So plastic sheeting and dry bags. If you don't have a dry bag, get you one. Plastic sheeting you can find anywhere from $1 to I think I saw a big roll for $10 that is manageable. And then you also have the contractor one, which is the big box, and it's this big. You can roll those out, and that's going to cost you a pretty penny, but you're not going to use that much, and you're certainly not going to carry that in your backpack. So this is actually a half a roll. You can do it however you want to. Decide how you're going to need it or what you think you might need, and then plan for a little more is what it boils down to. All right, so there you go, folks. Dry gear bag, and plastic sheeting. So that's it for Two Tip Tuesday this time. Hey, listen, there's a good possibility in 2018 we might discontinue Two Tip Tuesday. Maybe not. We're still working on that, simply because we got a whole lot of other functions, a whole lot of other projects in the work, and we want to make sure that we're giving it justice to whatever you're looking for. So Two Tip Tuesday may have a hiatus at a period of time. Next week we'll still have one, so it's okay. I'll let y'all know when that happens, if it happens. We're going to try to do both. We're going to try to do a Two Tip Tuesday and a video. So y'all are making it popular and making it more difficult for me. That's not a problem. It's a happy thing to deal with. Anyway, hey y'all, thanks for everything you do. Thanks for your likes and subscribes. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed, please do. Please subscribe in there. It lets me know that I'm doing something right. Whether you like them or not, it's one of those things. Thumbs up, thumbs down. If you don't like them, that's okay. But if you do a thumbs down, please put it in the comment. Tell me why. What was wrong? Why didn't you like it? And because I'll take the feedback, I don't have a problem with it, but it helps me to make things better for you in the future. So again, happy 2018. Thanks for all you do. Use your instincts to survive. Thanks for watching.